Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.
Welcome back for another episode of Matty Loves Podcast. I'm your host, Matt D. Simone. With me, as always, is Dr. Tom Lucas. Welcome back, Dr. Tom.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so consecutive weeks, consecutive shows here. Last week, we talked a little bit about the comic book films that we both seen.
The golden age of superhero movies in which we live.
Yes, we continue to live. So we talked a little bit about Civil War, talked a little bit about X-Men Apocalypse, and some of the upcoming feature films on the way. This week, though, I wanted to dedicate more towards the source material for all these great films, and that is the comic books themselves.
Yes, read comic books. Go to see the movies, but please buy comic books and read comic books.
It helps. It'll help you enjoy the films, too, a little bit more, one way or another. Or I guess I could say it'll help you enjoy the comic books a little bit more when you go see the films.
Support the arts.
Right.
Even if they are owned by Disney.
Right, so some big changes are going on right now in comics. It usually kind of happens annually, biannually. The main big changes are going on right now in DC Comics. We have, let's go back to it's 2011. I think that was when New 52 launched. And it was different. They made a lot of sales for the first couple months just because, they had retconned the entire DC universe. Over the course of time, it definitely started to go sour to the point where I think a lot of readers just started to question what the hell they were planning on doing to begin with. And at the end of the day, I feel that they really didn't know. They were going to kind of just make it sort of an organic thing. And at the end of the day, it didn't work. And I think now DC is going to slowly start to rebuild the old DC universe once again with this new Rebirth event that started last week, the first week of June, here in 2016. The main thing for me, for Rebirth, and what I'm getting out of all this is there's one hero in the DC universe that you have to have right all the time, or it just doesn't seem like anything's working, and that's Superman.
Yeah.
Superman, since 2011, has been a shell of the Superman that has existed for the previous 80 years or whatever.
And can you get me up to speed with what the New 52 Superman was? Because I did not read that title.
Okay, so basically, New 52 Superman was dialing back Superman's age considerably to where he's about like a 25, 26-year-old. Mm-hmm. Both of his parents are dead. He lost them both, so he doesn't have his parents anymore, which I didn't like. I don't like that at all. I either give him both or just give him Martha. Don't take them both.
Yeah, you gotta have Ma Kent.
Yeah. You do. They didn't stick him in the Daily Planet right away, and it just seemed like they were just trying to do all these different things with Superman, with the whole Kryptonian armor and everything, and it just never felt right at all. It really didn't. He was constantly trying to figure out his place in the world, and by the time that they did New 52 before that, man, Superman had already been through all of that 100 million times over,
right?
And you don't need to do that again.
What it feels like, again, as someone that, although I've followed DC my whole life, I've never been a hardcore Superman reader, like pick up titles every month from the shop kind, but I'll read trades. I felt like it's almost like the Legion Superboy, kind of.
Yeah, he felt more like Superboy than Superman. That's for sure. That's for sure. And so, they just really Jeff Johns took over the book for a couple months, and he gave Superman a whole new power set with this solar flare. Mm-hmm. That he could do, and I didn't really realize why are you going to give them that power until you read Superman 52. And it's the solar flare that ends up saving the day, but also killing Superman at the same time. Right. Because that's the kind of the start leading into Rebirth in the Superman books, was Superman basically realizing that because he was imbued with the anti-life equation in Justice League. He has been, poisoned more or less, and he's dying. And so the lead up to to DC Rebirth was the death of New 52 Superman, which was awesome.
That happened in Wonder Woman, though, right?
It happened in Superman 52.
Okay.
And so they kill off Superman, New 52 Superman, but that's just because, post-crisis Superman that existed before the New 52 happened has been on Earth since the close of Convergence, which was the event from last year. And Convergence, more or less, is, was talked a lot about that last year. It was a definite fail. However, they did bring back the Dan Jurgens Superman that I grew up just loving as a kid, and he is now going to be Superman in the current DC canon, which is good. So we're getting rid of the collar, and we're going back to somewhat of the traditional Superman costume, but they can't throw the underwear back on him.
Yeah, that's a hard sell now, huh?
I guess, man. And
I'm looking over at your Crisis Superman figure over there, with the yellow and the yellow belt,
right?
And the
So,
underwears.
but I think that getting him right and everything is good. The only thing that my only concern now is you've got not only Clark, but you have Lois from post-crisis, and they've got a kid, Jonathan. Lois got pregnant and had a kid, finally. And so, and that's what was going on through the Superman series of Convergence, was he and Lois, who was pregnant, and then having the kid. So we've got Superman back, but we do also find out that New 52 universe was actually built by someone.
Right.
It was not caused by Wally West in the whole Flashpoint paradox. This was Flashpoint paradox was actually created by someone else.
Well, yeah, and the Flashpoint paradox, didn't that really just like give us Earth 2?
Oh, the Flashpoint paradox is
he
what
went
happens
to Earth 2 and
what happens after Barry goes back in time and saves his mom. What happens to everything from that point on. We can all assume now, I don't know if how much any of you have read or whatever, but it appears that Dr. Manhattan and Ozymandias apparently have something to do with the creation of the New 52 universe and all of its heroes.
Right.
Now, how this came to be, I'm going to be really, really interested to find out, because, I know a lot of people, when they first read the spoilers, they were kind of like, what the fuck? Dr. Manhattan, that's Watchmen. Doesn't take place in the actual DC, universe. But DC has been trying, for years to try to bring everything into one, Earth, so to speak. And I think that's what Rebirth is going to do. It's just going to take all of these characters and bring them back into like the same universe, instead of having, there can be a ton of Earths, but all of our heroes,
that's the DC thing,
right? But all of our heroes, are going to be in and around, Earth Prime, Earth 1, whatever you want to call it. So, Rebirth #1 was basically the setup to show, what all these heroes are going to be up to now. Wonder Woman has a twin brother, which is pretty crazy. There's an Amazonian boy out there named Jason.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want to name him like some regular name.
I thought it was a Jason and the Argonauts thing.
Oh, yeah.
Jason is actually now. If they named him Kevin, I'd be really concerned.
Right.
Jake.
Right.
Yeah, but I assumed that it was like maybe he's the Jason of the Argonauts and some kind of thing, with the Golden Fleece and whatnot.
Right. So that'll be interesting. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe picking up Wonder Woman Rebirth at least, and just reading where they're going, because folks, they're all $3 right now, which is dope. You know,
Yeah.
you can't beat $2.99.
Today I picked up Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Batman, and Superman. I'm looking forward to digging in.
Yeah. So you know, like I said, this is, you know, Rebirth is kind of setting up where everything's going.
Where do you think it's going?
Well, you know, I don't know. My favorite moment in Rebirth was Wally getting pulled out of the Speed Force by Barry when Barry remembered him. You know, because the whole point of Rebirth #1 is Wally West going around to different people in his life to see if they can, you know, all he needs is someone to remember him to pull him out of the Speed Force.
Right.
And nobody remembers him.
Right.
He goes to his ex-girlfriend, Linda Park. She doesn't remember. I don't know who you are. Well, and then he's like, well, screw it. She don't remember me.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm going to become a part of the Speed Force, and other speedsters will pull upon my life energy. And all that stuff.
Right.
And you had texted me to go pick up these books, and all you said is poor Wally West, right? And so that hit me because, as I've established before, the George Perez Teen Titan run came out when I was a kid,
Right.
and was very impactful on me in terms of my tastes and it teaching me about the DC universe as a whole and my lifelong love of Deathstroke, even when he's not written well, you know, or he's doing things that aren't Deathstroke to me,
Right.
or looking like something that isn't Deathstroke. But anyway, Wally West, you know, is a big part of that Teen Titans team, and I really fell in love with him before I fell in love with the Flash and the more grown up Justice League characters. Because, like, if I recall, the Justice League around that time was pretty damn awful, actually.
When?
About the same time the Teen Titans.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that was
going
the
on.
thing. It was like, you know, Justice League kind of couldn't compete with the Teen Titans back then just because the Teen Titans were like the X-Men of the
Right.
DCU.
Yeah.
And the Justice League, you know, has never been a series like that's an ongoing series. Like, there was Justice League of America, you know, in a couple volumes, but there's never been, like, you know, a Justice League. There's not a Justice League issue 567, you know?
Yeah.
Just one of those things where
It
they put it out
starts and
quarterly.
stops.
Right,
And also, too, is my favorite run of Justice League is Keith Giffen to Mathis.
Exactly, and that was basically kind of like the origins of that series were going on while Teen Titans was in its heyday.
And they weren't allowed to use anyone but Martian Manhunter from the core team.
Right, and Batman.
And Batman. But they couldn't touch Flash, they couldn't touch Wonder Woman, they couldn't touch Supes, you know, all that. And they just went tonally in such a different... But they've given us Max Lord, they've given us Lobo, they gave us Guy Gardner, although he was a character, apparently, you know,
But that brought
in
him
the late
up,
60s,
though.
but it brought him to the forefront and a bunch of other things. But yeah, Justice League is kind of one of those, it's like a party that lasts for a little while and it goes away.
Right. Another big thing out of all this was like the power ring from the crime syndicate.
No.
Volthoom, who was like taking control of that one chick, who it was like, I don't think it's like Jade, but I keep wanting to call her Jade, but it's not Jade, but she reminds me of Jade from, you know, back in the day, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern and stuff. Well, anyway, so Volthoom ends up getting killed, and then the woman who had the ring on her finger, we all think is dead. We find out it's Volthoom who's dead, and then
The ring disintegrates.
And
Finally.
then all of a sudden, here comes this Green Lantern ring. Hey, you have the power to instill will, you know, and like I'm like, wait, what? And right as I
have a ring
thought
that won't kill you.
yeah, and then after I read that, the next word bubble is, I can't remember who says it. It was like, how many Green Lanterns does this space sector?
Yeah,
really
yeah,
need?
yeah,
You know, and I
right,
was like,
yeah.
yeah, true. Like, good God, how many do we have now? And then
Thought it was one per sector, man.
yeah, and then she says in like Rebirth #1, I'm not working with the Green Lantern with the gun. And I'm like, oh yeah, that one too, Baz. Good God, you know, there's 5. So that tells me something's coming. You know, I mean, if you're gonna have 5 Green Lanterns in one sector when every other one has just 1 or 2, yeah, something's about to happen for sure. But so, I thought that was kind of a nice, oh yeah, and then, finding out that Superwoman, the baby she had been carrying the whole entire time, was Alexander Luthor's kid.
Yeah.
Which was just baby Darkseid. Just needed to be reborn again. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of cool because Darkseid in the Darkseid War in Justice League, he dies in like issue 3. You're like, this is called the Darkseid War and it's 10 parts. What the hell, Right. So
Darkseid in name only.
yeah. So that was pretty cool. So I think that DC right now is kind of just still heading towards like the whole cleanup phase. I think one of the main characters that they got to clean up still is Superman because you've got 2 Loises, man.
Right.
That's an issue for me. Like, what are they going to do with that other Lois Lane?
Threesome.
Yeah, right.
It's not really cheating.
That's for
right?
Image. That's for Image Comics.
Yeah, I know.
Or Vertigo.
Vertigo.
Yeah, Where
is it right now? I miss it.
I don't know. I mean, we saw a little bit of the end of Rebirth #1, Constantine and Swamp Thing. That was a nice little deal.
That was
he's like, Lady Arcane got you again. And Swamp Thing's like, shut up, I'll kill you.
What does he call him too? He calls him something really derogatory. Like fungus face or God, I don't know. Find it for me. So, the Wally West part of Rebirth 0, whatever, was definitely like the feels moment.
And then you've got Brett Booth, who finally gets to draw Wally West in Titans. I don't know.
Right.
Titans is going to be, I guess, Wally's team, which is pretty exciting.
Right. And
let's see if I can find it here. The epilogue.
Right. Here's some more recycled pages from Watchmen.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Good God.
Here's the thing for me while you're trying to find that. So the history of Watchmen is pretty well established, so we can do very shorthand, right? DC buys Charlton, gets all the Charlton characters, asks Alan Moore to write a Charlton character story, right? He writes it, and we're going to pause for the joke.
What
was the joke?
He says, you've always been a pain in the ass, you bloody turnip.
Turnip, yeah, that's it. He calls him Turnip. I thought that was great. So Alan Moore writes Watchmen, which is, of course, he says, hey, I wrote something really great, but you won't be able to use these characters again. DC says, okay, make us different characters. We'll take the Charlton characters. We'll take your Captain Atom and your Question and your Blue Beetle and all those, and we'll just bring them into the DCU. And Watchmen goes off, and it does all the things that Watchmen did, legendary, blah, 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 permanent part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to bring those characters in to the DCU, so it's a twofer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they got a 2-for-1 with all those Charlton characters.
Yeah.
It took a long time for it, but it's a double dip.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they're gonna do like a Watchmen like monthly series, like.
Oh, well, how about, can we do a comedian Deadpool crossover?
Well, comedians. Yeah. Right. Well, I was thinking about it too. I mean,
is he dead? Is anyone dead?
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to Dr. Manhattan. Because, Ozymandias and Dr. Manhattan obviously are still alive, but...
Rorschach and Question together.
That's the thing. It's like, Rorschach, man, don't bring him back. And I have a feeling they're going to bring everybody back.
Batman is chilling in the Batcave, and he's like, ooh, what's that? I never noticed that before. Okay. And so he goes to investigate something on the wall that, he's like, what? And it's the comedian pin that...
With the blood on it.
With the blood on it, so it's post-comedian's death. And that was in the gutter in the street.
Right.
Okay?
So some sort
Nobody took it and put it away somewhere.
Right, yeah.
Okay? It was... Rorschach went, bean juice, human bean juice, or whatever he says, later on in the book, and and then that's it. So it is an incredible what the fuck moment.
Yeah, I don't know if it just like fell through like some sort of like time Earth merger or something like that. Right, yeah. I don't know. We'll find out.
Fell through the fabric, the loosened fabric of the universes. So, where's Grant Morrison going to be in all this?
Yeah.
I have committed a mortal sin. I have not picked up any issues of heavy metal this year. I don't know what, because Grant Morrison's editor-in-chief.
But when did it start?
I thought he was starting in February. I thought Heavy Metal was. I thought he was becoming editor-in-chief in February, and that was the whole deal. And I don't know if they're doing a monthly or not, but kind of want to see what's going on with that. So using the power of the Oracle of OMAC, we're going to find out. Sort of thing. So, yeah, I dug there's a couple covers out there, but of course I like the one that is, the mock-up of Adam and God giving man the, spark of life. Mm-hmm. And, you got to look really, really close, but that could...
It's Dr. Manhattan.
It could be Dr. Manhattan. It also kind of looks like a glove, which is kind of odd. But... probably Dr. Manhattan, because hands are just hard to draw anyway, so can't read too much into that. But it's blue. It's that bright blue, white lightning thing that's Dr. Manhattan, and so.
Yeah, right. I think it might be Doc Manhattan, but I don't know.
Well, the comedian pin is like, who else could it be? And then the whole he's on Mars and he's like, oh, maybe I'll create a universe and walk around in it. I wonder what they'll think of my blue thing.
Yeah, right.
Wagging around.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be cool with it. Gosh. So
I'm not into Batman's new costume.
Yeah.
I don't like
I gotta really go through.
I don't like that yellow outline around the bat symbol,
Okay.
His belt is like a black utility belt with like yellow highlights around it. I don't know.
Well, give it some time.
Yeah.
Give it some time, and it'll probably get phased into something else, right?
Yeah, I read Batman Rebirth, and it's Calendar Man.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm going to crack it open tonight. But, in full analysis on my end, it's like, okay, so trying to get in the room, where they're like, all right, New 52, it's done. Okay, we gave it a shot. We wrote it out. We need to get back to that core universe that people have loved for decades, and stop worrying about trying to turn on the new 12-year-olds to the books, right? Stop trying to reboot for youth and all that, and get more to the classics, timeless stuff. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Right.
The characters are constants. There's certain things that when you pick up a Batman book, you can expect. When you pick up a Superman book, you can expect.
Sure.
Get to those kind of core virtues or values. And if you want to do it within the DC published universe, meaning anything that they have published, Dr. Manhattan's your guy.
Oh, for sure.
He's the guy to put it all on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like that. I like that they didn't just invent a character like, what was it? The Monitor? What was Crisis on the Infinite Earths? The Monitor.
That, and then there was also like Telos from Convergence.
Right, yeah. God. Yeah. So I like that. I like that. Watchmen is a literary work that I never attached to any universe. It just really felt, and I, at my core, I kind of feel like it should just be left alone to be the thing that it is.
Yeah.
But also, I get it at the same time. I do. I just don't want to see Batman and Rorschach teaming up,
Yeah, no, I don't want to.
I kind of want them to all be dead.
Well, I would think that eventually Dr. Manhattan's going to be the villain of the story.
Well, yeah, and I mean, who could stand up to him? Really? He's God. He knows what you're going to do because he sees time as one thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like deep cosmic DC characters that could kind of go toe to toe as far as it goes with the like being able to see.
Right. So who can you put up against Dr. Manhattan?
That can just like will anything to be. Shit, man. I mean, thinking like I'm trying to run New Gods. I I'm trying to think of someone that can like just like will, like can like just take all these like molecules and formulate it to make a telephone or something like that. Like Dr. Manhattan can do that shit.
Right.
Maybe Apocalypse from the new X-Men films.
Or I don't know. Firestorm could be his sidekick.
Yeah, Firestorm. If you want to go Thanos, like in comparison to, or if you want to do a Galactus comparison to a Dr. Manhattan, Firestorm would be the ultimate herald to Dr. Manhattan.
I know, right?
He would be awesome.
Oh, when I was at MegaCon, $400 Firestorm statue, I was drooling over. It was the classic.
Yeah,
the classic.
Just clean.
Yeah, and ever since I won the Killing Joke statue on Free Comic Book Day.
You got that bug.
Well, also, too, my wife told me I can't have cheap shit in the office anymore, that it's got to be classy, nice stuff that I've graduated. I know.
You said this.
I know our budget, and if our budget could have handled the $400 hit, I would have come home with that custom Firestorm statue.
I want that Bowen Invincible statue. I'm going to have it one day.
Yeah.
They only made like 3,000 of them.
God, what's the tag on that?
It's like $349.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like
this Killing Joke statue is $387. I'm like,
dude.
what?
That is so huge.
Won it with a $3 raffle ticket. And the thing is that last year on Free Comic Book Day, I was laying on my couch in complete pain, waiting to have back surgery. I couldn't go out. And so I just watched all these pictures in my feed of people out and about on Free Comic Book Day. So we really came back in a big way. Yes. I hit 4 shops and I won a raffle. So some pretty solid stuff. I'm kind of excited about Rebirth. I feel like as a lifelong reader who's come and gone, I haven't been brand loyal. But when I hear like a particular writer or artist is doing a really great thing, I'll pick up the trade or whatever. And also, we've established my crime syndicate fetish that I have. And like I picked up like volume 5 of Justice League because it was a crime syndicate.
And Owlman's in the Mobius chair,
bro.
Like, oh wait, no.
He's about to.
Owlman gets in the Mobius chair, but gets killed, and then Lex gets in the Mobius chair.
Right. That'll probably be the next volume. I picked it up just because the crime syndicate was on the cover. And the thing that was very rewarding is that it was the volume that included all their origin stories.
Nice. Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, I've had a serious fetish about the Crime Syndicate since Crisis on the Infinite Earths, because I went and picked that up, and I was a youngster.
Yeah.
And I'm watching, all the universes get destroyed. And I'm like, who are these people? What is this? And I've kind of like, and then of course Grant Morrison's Earth 2, which is not Earth 2 anymore, it's technically Earth 3, really sold me on the Crime Syndicate in a lot of ways. So that was kind of cool.
50 was the final issue of Justice League.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go to 52, but they're not. That's it.
I made a mistake. I didn't buy that issue of Superman. I bought the one I think before it.
Oh, the one where he's like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, did the solar flare power create that alter ego version of him that's like the pure solar version of him?
Well, the flare did, yes, because that flare sent out like a DNA replication.
Yeah.
That like got onto like this astronaut and like, imbued him to
turned him into a fiery.
To where he thought, he's a big ball of fire, but he thinks he's Clark Kent. He thinks he's Superman. Like he goes to the Daily Planet just burning like crazy. He's like, "Hey, Lois," "No, I'm Superman." "No, you're not."
Yeah. I caught that pretty quick,
Yeah, and it was a good way for basically Superman. New 52 Superman dies, killing Nuclear Man.
Yeah. Now, the strategy I see here, and I'm sure they won't follow it, is that let's do a year of just straightforward storytelling with the characters, the kind of books where a new reader can, go back to the days when you buy a book, it's somebody's first book.
Yeah.
Every book you write as if it's somebody's first book. Let's just do that for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tell some great stories.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get these characters back to their core values and, the trademark, that kind of stuff. And maybe not do an earth-shattering event for a while. Let's just breathe a little bit.
I just remembered how they're going to take care of Lois Lane in the New 52.
Yeah?
She's getting Superman's powers and is going to become Superwoman. And the whole thing with this series is Lois Lane is Superman, or has Superman's powers, but it's killing her. So,
right.
I'm pretty sure the New 52 Lois Lane isn't going to survive that series.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as this, this was kind of a really quick recap on, the comics with DC in particular. I mean, Marvel right now is doing Civil War II.
Yeah.
The death of James Rhodes.
I just want to throw 2 words at you.
Sure.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, totally hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Come on. Oh, God.
But, he is awfully Aryan.
Yeah. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, right?
I mean...
So, what I've said to my colleagues or anyone who was had their feathers ruffled... By the way, I picked up issue 1 because
Okay.
I wanted to have it.
Right.
It'll probably be worth 75 cents one day.
Sure.
And I don't know why he has the kite shield. I guess he did a whole thing where he was...
Well, Sam Wilson still got the cap shield.
Right, so I don't know why you can't just give him another one.
It's like a blade.
I'm assuming it's because, we want to differentiate visually... And this is a really simple way to do that.
Did they explain how Steve went young again? Because he was an old man for about a year.
Well, what I read online was that the storyline just prior to this is that Steve Rogers was in this town that S.H.I.E.L.D. had created that's secretly a prison for supervillains and whatnot. Right. And he was shuffling around there, and then something happened. And he got his shit back.
I pretty much kind of said fuck you after Secret Wars ended because that was just so anticlimactic and bad.
I didn't pick up that last issue or so.
Terrible. I mean, it was not.
And
terrible,
I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
No, it was a fail, man. Yeah. At the end of the day, it was a fail. I mean, Jonathan Hickman built this big gigantic story.
I'm good.
He built this big gigantic story in Avengers for 3 years. I loved every minute of it, and there was no delivery on any
right.
through that. And I kind of think too, Hickman hadn't written anything with Marvel since then, and I kind of feel like he was burnt.
Yeah.
By the time he got to Secret Wars, he was burnt out.
Yeah.
So I mean that made some changes. I'm really enjoying right now. My favorite Marvel titles that I'm reading are Invincible and International Iron Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and Thor.
Yeah.
All those books are rock solid right now.
Okay.
I'm not reading the Avengers title. This is the first time in years that I haven't been reading a monthly Avengers book. I just don't like the team, man. It's just not. I just don't really feel.
What is the current roster of the Avengers?
The current roster of the Avengers is Sam Wilson, Miles Morales, Jane Foster, Vision, Nova, and another female character that I can't remember. Oh, Miss Marvel.
Okay.
The new Miss Marvel.
Right.
The one everyone loves.
Yeah. That they're waiting for her movie.
Reason, I don't even know. No. They're casting Carol Danvers in the Miss Marvel movie, but they got the other one that for some reason people.
I don't know. When I think of Nova and Miss Marvel and all that, I just think 70s.
Yeah,
I just think 70s Marvel.
I mean, it's a real Mark Waid's writing Avengers right now, but the team that he has to write right now.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just not. I don't get it. I'm just not feeling it at all.
From a writing perspective, each character needs to be some kind of aspect of personality that contrasts from the rest.
Right.
How do you play those characters off each other?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Is there someone who's the rapscallion, like the sharp wit? Miles Morales?
I would guess. Nova.
You know? I don't know.
Like the end of damn it, I can't remember what I just read. Is like ends with all the Avengers showing up or whatever to do something, and they got to go to space, and they say this some serious line, and then Nova says like, "Oh, I've never been to blah 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 before," and then someone else says, "Stay focused." You know, like, all right. It's like
sounds like a real buzzkill, man.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a fun.
If there's a time for DC Comics right now to start really like picking it back up,
Yeah.
I think now's the time because Marvel right now, you know,
Spirit of '86 DC.
Yeah.
Spirit of '86.
Yeah,
That's when oh my god.
they need to just go for it, man.
85 to 90 is when DC like pulled out of a hell of a time.
Yeah.
And into you know, really being competitive and better in a lot of ways, at least for me at that time.
Yeah, also too, you know, I think one of our first podcasts we talked about was like Saturday morning cartoons and what happened to them and everything.
Oh, that was a great show.
Future Quest is another DC book that they're doing right now that basically it's like, have you ever wondered what Space Ghost's origin was? Where did Space Ghost come from? You know,
Right.
You know, in the beginning of Johnny Quest, you know, when you watched it as a kid, you'd see these Cyclops spiders shooting lasers from their eyes, but there was never an episode with those that I could remember with those spiders.
They were just there.
They were just there, right?
Right.
Well, like the first few pages of like Future Quest, like answers like both of those questions for me, and I mean, I was right away like, I am all in this now, man.
Really?
Birdman. I mean, it all makes sense too how they set it all up. It like
How far are they in?
just one issue. And the issue ended with like Johnny and Haji.
I'm borrowing that from you before I leave the studio.
Johnny and Haji are like in the water, you know, something that crashes or whatever, and they're in the water, and then like Space Ghost flies out from the water, and he's like, "Who are you?" You know. But there's a whole. Remember the two kids and the monkey that he had with him on the show?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a whole core of them. Like there's a whole like a Green Lantern core of those like
Space Ghost people.
yeah, Space Ghost people.
So
yeah.
they're like a Green Lantern or a Nova Corps kind
Basically,
of thing.
yeah. In the beginning is them like, you know,
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool.
Okay.
You're gonna have also the Herculoids are gonna be a part of this.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah. It's all Hanna-Barbera.
I want to be writing this
It's
shit,
all
man.
Hanna-Barbera, and another awesome thing
Through
about
DC.
it through DC, but it makes sense because what was probably Hanna-Barbera's biggest cartoon property, the Super Friends.
Right.
So we gotta have a crossover coming up.
yeah.
There's also
Is Thunder the Barbarian getting in the mix?
he wasn't Hanna-Barbera.
No.
No, he was Schweimer. He was the.
Oh yeah.
He was that crew. Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't Hanna-Barbera. But they also
Damn it.
have a Scooby-Doo book.
Apocalypse.
Scooby Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yep. Jim Lee did the cover of the first issue.
I saw it at MegaCon. I was tempted.
Yeah, I didn't get that. But you know, who knows? That might be awesome too. But yeah, Future Quest.
I like
is
that
dope.
Velma's a gamer chick.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's all updated stuff, which is pretty cool.
The recent Scooby-Doo experience I had was Scooby-Doo Kiss. The movie came out, and two things. One, Daphne like drooling over Paul Stanley the whole time, and then they gave Paul Stanley like I don't know if they didn't voice their characters, right? Those are other.
Oh, was it?
I thought it was just voice actors.
Paul Stanley.
Dude.
Hey, Daphne. How
They
you
did.
doing?
They gave him the list.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, it's Paul Stanley. Probably was then. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing here? It's like he talks and he screams two totally different ways.
Yeah.
How y'all like the taste of tequila? Yeah.
It's amazing. So, I need to read this. I will read
Right.
this. I'm not leaving the studio without it.
Cool.
But just a quick note on Hail Hydra before we start bringing it in, I guess. It's bullshit. Give it 6 issues.
Hell
give it 8
yeah,
issues
man.
or whatever.
Come on.
Don't. People are like, oh, my kitty's crying. dying. He's throwing away all his Captain America stuff. Well, you raised a stupid child.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, these are comic books.
When you raise children, you have to tell them when they're growing up, look, anybody can be a Nazi, okay?
Yeah, right.
Anybody can be a Nazi. So just have that in the back of your mind that everyone you meet might be a Nazi.
Right.
This is
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And don't even worry about it. You know, it's a gimmick. It's a thing. You know, I am very much alone, I think, in this. It's saying, let's just tell some good stories and not try to, like, shock people all the damn time. What people want action, adventure, and escapism, right? There didn't used to be these earth-shattering events every year or two. You know, when I was a kid, the Contest of Champions was like a 3-issue thing that only had, like, 10 of the Marvel characters.
Well, yeah, and back in the 80s, it was just really not until the end of the 80s that the X-Men did the crossover, and that was the big event,
right?
You know? And then Marvel, and then DC. Well, Marvel would utilize the annuals to do crossover events, and then DC. For the end of the 80s, they started with Crisis, but then they do like a couple like 4-issue things, you know, or whatever. I think they did like that Millennium thing.
Well, and what was the Legends?
Legends, that 4-part deal.
You know, those are fun.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that it's fair that readers need a checklist in order to experience a story. And like for me, that frustrates me as a comic buying man. When I see that I need 12 parts over 6 titles, this, that, and the other thing, I go, you know what, I ain't reading it.
Yeah,
I ain't reading it.
And you really, at the end of the day, don't need it. Because I'm reading like 4 books that are tied into Civil War II.
Right.
I'm not going to get the guy I got for free because I said I wasn't going to be getting Civil War. They gave me issue 0 for free. They were like, "Here, read it, and then tell us what you think." And I read it, and you know, the first half of it is just litigation with She-Hulk, and I'm like, "Man, come on!" Like, I'm going to get the story I need. Probably reading my Iron Man, my Spider-Man comics because they're both going to play huge roles, I'm sure. So I'm good as far as that goes, and I'm just going to see how that is. If I get enough information from that, then. You know, whatever. Because Civil War 0 starts out with the president telling James Rhodes to run for president. Yeah. And then Civil War 1 is James Rhodes getting killed. So. And
here's the other thing, too, is we're both in agreement that probably the most on-point publisher in comics today is Image.
Yeah, because they're just telling stories.
They're just telling stories. They don't have the weight of a continuity, the weight of a history. The closest thing to having a continuity is Invincible, you know?
Well, that's because it's also 128 issues.
Yeah, exactly, you know? And I say, just pretend to be Image for a year.
Yeah.
Just pretend to be Image for a year.
See who's the best.
Just see what happens, you know? It's not like you're not going to make $1 bazillion out of licensing and merchandise anyway.
Right,
okay?
right.
Reel it in, be Image for a year. And bring back Vertigo all proper, like, so I can write for you. Yeah. Because I don't think I'm a core DC guy at heart. I think I'm meant to be a Vertigo guy, if anything. But those are my thoughts on that. And also, don't worry about Captain America. By the way, his new costume is stupid. His shield is stupid. Everything's stupid. So, you know,
he'll be back. He'll
be back. Or, you know, let's do, like, fucking Batman Beyond thing, you know, where he's like, you know, in some kind of like control room, like calling shots or something, like a senior strategist, like war general type. Right. Let's do something like that. I mean, nobody's a greater strategist than Captain America. Right, that's one of his great strengths. Is you know, he knows how to attack, and where to apply resources and things like that.
Yeah, pretty much any of the guys with like the military, rank in front of him. You're Captain America, Sergeant Rock. You know,
Sergeant Rock.
There's the guys.
Oh, I loved Sergeant Rock.
Those are the guys you want to go to for like military strategy.
Yeah. I was a big Sergeant Rock reader back in the day.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I love those stories, but It's not right for now because of they made him young again and all that. But Batman Beyond was fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic show, and they nailed Bruce Wayne, but yet we had a different guy in a different suit doing different things, and it really, really worked.
Yeah.
You still got that Bruce Wayne Batman itch scratched, but you had a new angle, and I don't know. I think that would have been a cool avenue to take, but.
Hey, you never know what they have planned for these guys, It's
Right.
just have to just wait and see. But with that, we will be having you wait and see when our next podcast.
It will be sooner than later.
Yes, for sure.
I think we're getting our legs back.
Yes. So, on behalf of Dr. Tom Lucas, I'm Matt D. Simone. Please go out and read some comic books. Check out some of this Rebirth shit. I think a lot of people that have read comics for a while and new readers will enjoy it, especially. But that's all we have for this week. We will see you next time on Matty Loves Podcast.
Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.